right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our last webinar. Very bittersweet. Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Brianna.
Oh, weird. Hold on. Yikes.
Are you the only one that can't hear me?
Yeah, no, you're good. My volume was turned off on my computer, so that's embarrassing. Never mind. Continue. Yikes.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for the last webinar. Thank you for everything you've done, and you know, Natalie and I will still be around if you ever want to like say hi to us, and we'll get started with the webinar. So the shipment is going to be sent out either tomorrow or Friday, and in that shipment will include new locks for each of your cases. Each case should have 2 locks. So if you know you don't have 2 locks per case and you haven't reached out to us yet, please do so like by tonight so we can get that out to you. And then you'll also have 40 headphones for the activity. One of the activities that gets kind of loud, so that's why we're sending new headphones so it doesn't disrupt everyone else in the store. And then in your shipment will also be labels for the 3 cases to be shipped back. So we'll have a return label for you, a little purple slip that you can put it right in and stick it on your case. We're gonna try to make it as easy for you as possible. And then like last month, you'll have 12 student guide instructions that we printed out, and we're sending those to you as well for the last part of the activity that Nate will go over in a little bit. And then also Natalie created an equipment checklist that you can go through, make sure you have everything, and then if you can just sign off at the bottom or leave any comments, we'd really appreciate that. Then I'll pass it over to Natalie. You're muted, Natalie.
I am off the game tonight. Yikes. Okay. If you didn't respond, I just typed a comment, but I can read it. So if you didn't respond to our 2 emails about the locks, we're just sending you 6 to be safe. Anyways, everything's ready to go. We're just waiting on some labels or label pouches to put in, so you guys can slap those on the cases so FedEx can pick them up. Okay, so at the end of the day, place everything in the cases. It's the checklist. It's pretty much just the 11 laptops, the chargers for the laptops, the 10 phones, the chargers, the 10 tablets, the chargers, an HDMI cord, if you got one, and then the 10-port USB charger with the cord. But you'll go through and there's a section for notes. You'll sign that. You'll put it in one of the 3 cases. We do need all 3 of those cases back, all of that text. So however you want to format it within those 3 cases is fine by us. Just make sure everything's in there. And then please talk to the manager, whoever the top person is on Saturday at the store, and let them know that FedEx is coming to pick them up on Monday. Maybe ask if you can put them close to one of the doors. Maybe put a sticky note on it and say, "I'm for FedEx," would be great. So they are not forgotten. That is huge. We'll schedule that pickup so nothing has to be done. You can just say they're coming on Monday afternoon. Get these to them. And then clear out anything left from the storage area. This is huge. We want to leave everything as we found it with Verizon. So if there's old branding stuff or old name tags or leftover boxes or whatnot, just ask where they want those disposed of. You can toss anything, you can keep anything outside of the checklist. If there's any other questions on that, just reach out to us directly and we can help solve that or clear anything up like that with those. But if it's not on the list and you don't want it, you can toss it. So with that being said, we can switch over to the AI activity. Nate, let's see.
I just need to share my desktop.
Okay. We can make you do that. Make co-host. Yes.
All right, can everybody see that?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, so this one's a little bit different because it's a lot of stuff that you're trying to jam in, and it's kind of just a brief introduction of artificial intelligence for the students. So you have like 4 activities or three activities with a couple optional things, and then kind of like the final project at the end. And I'll try to do my best to go through and remember any pitfalls there were when we piloted it, and try to go over those as well. So the first one is Tina the talking T-Rex, and again, with each of these activities, I would say give the students like 5 minutes for each of the activities, and then have a couple minutes just to discuss. My goal was to try to get done with the like activity portion, leaving about 15 minutes for the project at the end. But it's kind of up to you however much time, if kids are enjoying one thing more than another, you can always give them more time. So Tina the talking T-Rex is a chat bot. And so I just gave the kids a few minutes to just chat with Tina. And basically I told them to look for like what sorts of things can she answer, what sorts of things can she not answer. And so like Tina is a T-Rex. And so if you ask her, what do you eat? She will tell you, that's not okay. That was a terrible thing. But if you ask her about her arms, how long were your arms? I'm pretty sure this one works. Wow, she is not working very well right now. Let me try to. I loaded this up earlier. Let me try to reload her real quick. There we go. Nope. Still not working very well. She does actually answer things, I promise you. This always doesn't work when you want it to. But she does actually answer things. She'll answer them like a T-Rex, but then the kids will start to understand that she does not answer like things that have nothing to do with T-Rexes. And then I did have them type in just random words like arms or like eat, and it would still give them some answers. And so we talked about how really it's just a program that tries to clue in on different words, but it's meant to look like it's an intelligent kind of real T-Rex. So that was the brief introduction. And we talked about how the people who made it, how they might have made it so that it does kind of respond to their questions. Then there's GiorgioCam, and this is why you have headphones. This is the main reason. GiorgioCam is a camera that when you take a picture, it will tell you what it sees. And again, this is one of Google's AI experiments that they have, and they have a database of a whole bunch of different pictures of things, and they basically use image recognition software in order to make it. But this might be loud, so I apologize. So you turn GiorgioCam on. Oh, there I am.
They'll tell you what I see.
So if you take a picture.
Snap photo. Here we go. That's hair on my screen.
Yep.
I think facial hair is what it sees.
Yes. Whenever I use GiorgioCam, it does tell me that it sees facial hair. But it does give you like that like 90% recognition or 95% recognition. And that with the students, we kind of talked about how it's cool, how it can tell you about how sure it is. But then we also talked about how it can recognize those things, why it can recognize those things. And again, we kind of related it back to the way that humans learn from the time that they're young by learning about all of these examples of things, and we start to make connections between them. And just in the same way, machines need those examples of things in order to seem like they are intelligent or learning things. So GiorgioCam is pretty fun. It's loud. You might want to bring just like if you have any little trinkets, that might be fun. We kind of ran out of things to take pictures of. while we were in the store, because there's, you know, only so many phones you can take pictures of. So if you have any like little trinkets or anything that you want them to try, or even just if you print out some pictures, I know I've held up a picture of like a tiger to it and it was able to recognize that. But yeah, so Giorgio Cam's pretty fun as well. Next one is Google Quick Draw. It's another one of their AI experiments. And again, this one, so this one's kind of cool, a little bit different because it has learned over time based on things that the user has drawn for it. And it's kind of like a game of Pictionary. So I should have said this at the beginning too. I'm doing this on my computer, so things, I don't think these first three look any different than they will on a tablet, but they might look a little bit different. So it tells you to draw a guitar.
I see ocean, or tooth, or water, or peanut, or shoe. I see pond. I see frying pan. Oh, I know, it's guitar.
Yeah, and so it tries to guess what you are drawing.
It'll
go through
or blueberry, or baseball, or bracelet. I see watermelon, or moon, or basketball, or bread. I see mouth, or peanut, or shoe.
It goes through like 6 of them. What's kind of cool though, I wish I could show you the end part with skipping through everything. But what's kind of cool,
Sorry, I couldn't guess it.
What's kind of cool is at the end you can click on your pictures and it will show you its top 3 guesses of what it could have been. But then it'll also show you what different users have drawn for the same thing. And again, that's an awesome example of how it's built up this kind of like database of knowing what you're drawing and being able to guess, because it's recognizing the shapes and the forms of what a whole bunch of different people have drawn. The kids really like that one. We probably spent a little bit more time on that one than any of them. Just because it is pretty engaging for them. It's another one where if you want them to use their headphones, obviously it talks at you and it can get loud. But really good example of because you can look at what other people have drawn for each of the things. So Google Auto Draw is not officially written in the directions, but I brought my kids here quickly after we did Quick Draw, because it does use the same database as Quick Draw. They just have now made a program where if you were to draw a picture, so let's say I drew a tree, it guesses up top what you're trying to draw. And if you click on one of those, like if I were to choose this one, there it is. Is that broccoli? That might be broccoli. There we go. There's a tree. But it'll again guess what you are drawing and then allow you to choose it. But it does use kind of that same database. We just went here quickly. I just gave them a couple minutes to kind of fool around with it just to see if it could guess what they were drawing. But they had fun with that one as well. Webcam Pac-Man is in the directions as an optional activity. I tried it the first session and then I didn't try it after that. It's not loading onto my computer right now. It's also not super awesome. I don't think we had any kids who actually got it to work. It would be really cool if it did work. What you'll see when you go on there is there's like a directional pad down here, and each one of the directions has a little screen, and you can actually take pictures with your web camera that you want to that you would want to represent that direction. And so it's hard. It sounds harder than it is. And you just click on the different screens to take that picture. So if I wanted the up direction to be me like pointing up, I would take a whole bunch of pictures of me pointing up. And through that, it's supposed to learn that when I point up, to move Pac-Man up. Again, we didn't get it to work very much, and it really wasn't, to me, it wasn't worth the time. If we had gotten it to work, if it was easy enough, then it would be worth the time. But when you're trying to do things in like 5 or 10 minutes, it might not be worth it. The games do work on the Android tablets. That's what you'll be using for this lab. I made like a folder I Google, just went into Google, searched for each one. If you type in like Giorgio Cam, it's the first link that pops up. If you type in Tina the T-Rex, it's the first link that pops up. And then I just save them to the home screen and put them in a folder together. That way the kids were able to just kind of click through each one really easily. All right. So those activities, the goal of those activities were just to get them learning a little bit, give them a quick introduction about AI. And then the final project is a quick program that I created. I did notice today that we still don't have it in the class, in the Verizon app development class. But I know when we wrote the Ed Portal one, I did give a class code for that sends it to this class. So you might have to add a class this time. To do that, you just go on, and it would be good to do before that day. You can do it on a laptop. You just go to the My Classes area, click on Join a Class, and you'll enter a class code. Natalie, if I get that to you tonight, can we just email that out to everyone?
Yes, absolutely. I can go through it too and enter it. It's on the instructor guide too.
Okay.
The 6 or 7, 8-digit number. So
Okay.
it's on there. And guys, it's exactly the same as last month. Again, it'll just pop up here. You'll do it on the desktop, as Nate said. You'll log in, hit My Classes, hit Join a Class in the right upper corner. Type in that number. You'll be good to go. Again, open it, hit save. It'll throw it over to the tablets.
Yeah.
So
and it's a different number than last time, because this one links you to actually my Tinker page, because that was just the easiest way to do it. But once you have the project, the students are going to have a participant guide that will kind of lead them through it. And basically what this project is it's a project that could be used as a nightlight. And so it just starts as a blank screen, but you hold on, sorry. You teach it how to turn on by teaching it commands, basically. And then this of course is not working either, sorry. By teaching it commands, and then through that, the kids will enter like 3 or 4 of their own commands, basically, to make it turn on. And so then when they type in a command on the screen, it'll turn on. And it's supposed to get them thinking about the more commands that they would put in, the more that this could actually be used as a smart light, quote unquote, kind of like an Alexa or a Siri turning on a light. And so you want them to think about all the ways that they would, I'll just show you the participant guide right now, all the ways that they would say to turn on a light. And so there's already an example there that says, I want light. And then there's a whole bunch of these blanks as they go. And so, they can put in, like, if one way that they say to turn on a light is like, light please, they can type in light please there. And then the next one, maybe they say something like, on could be one. They could turn on. They could even do it in a different language. It doesn't matter, but they enter what they think people might say to turn a light on into these boxes. And then you can have them test it. They press play. It opens up with I'm going to try to log back in here. It opens up with a chat box that they can try to type their commands in. The challenge is that that they have to type it into the chat box exactly how they entered it into the code. So if they added a period, they have to put a period in. If they added a capital, they have to put that capital in. So that's one thing that kind of that makes it a little bit hard for the students. The other thing is kind of like last week, they can tend to move things around. So one of the things that I did was we've moved all the things that we don't want them to change out of this, kind of out of the way, like really far out of the way. So they shouldn't be getting into those things unless they're really like searching for it. The other thing is, here it is. The other thing is, yeah, that was, and then I also kind of lessened the number of things that they can enter. And so I think on the newest version, all of this stuff is moved out of the way. This on start and all that is moved out of the way so that they can't really touch it. And then there's less things for them to enter here. And so again, if they want, the way that they say on is on please, or maybe they just say lights, they can put in kind of as many as they want there, and then they can test it. And so if they test it and I say lights, it says what color light would you like, orange, blue, green, or pink. They can put in whatever, but then you can have the conversation with them. Okay, now we want to turn it off. Well, at first it doesn't turn off because we haven't told it how to turn off yet. And so that's where they then come down to this when I receive turn off, and they basically do the same thing here. They think about all the different ways that somebody might say off, you know, again, turn off or no more lights or whatever. They type in those different things. Again, get them thinking about the more that they would put in, the smarter this program would appear. You can even talk to them about different languages, whatever. But when they've put some in, so lights, pink, and then if they put it in, it should turn off. And so it just kind of gets them thinking that the more time we spent on this and the more inputs we put into it, the smarter of a program it would appear. Again, I tried to leave 10 to 15 minutes at the end for some of the students. Just getting it to turn on was a success, and they really liked that. Some of the students who were able to work more independently did it on their own. But I'll make sure that we make sure that things are out of the way, so that hopefully you don't run into the problem of kids moving stuff around or anything. So that's kind of the whole lab. Again, I always like to use the first session to kind of feel out what works and what doesn't. So I mean, there's no time limits on any of these things. So you can kind of feel how things are going and what things might want more time, what things might want less time. In all honesty, we didn't even make it to the end, to this part in my first session, and the kids still really just enjoyed learning about AI through the first kind of 4 activities. But it's kind of up to you. Yeah, the last part's basically coding.
Hey, Nate. So since we don't have a video, a few people have been asking that. There is not a video for this. We did not get it done in time, but could you go over a few points or, you know, main points to hit when you are introducing the activity to students, kind of replicating the video, just kind of the highlights of what AI is, what they'll be doing. Maybe you can just go over it now and then I can type it up and just send it out. So you guys just have a quick kind of cheat sheet to look at. To preface. Wow, yikes, go ahead.
Yeah, so the video script was a lot about kind of looking at the similarities and differences between how humans learn and and artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence being the ability to make a program or machine seemingly make decisions or recognize things or act like a human, or react like a human. And so it went through, and one of the things that I did when I piloted it too, now that I'm thinking about it, I brought up pictures of different dogs. Like I had a whole bunch of pictures of dogs, and we looked at dogs, and I talked about when you're really young, like like 1 or 2, and you're starting to learn about the world. We look at these animals and we tell you that it's a dog, and then we show them another picture of a dog, and we tell kids that this is a dog, and they start to make a connection that a dog is this furry thing that has ears and a tail and a nose and 4 legs. And then I showed them a picture of a cat, and I said, when a kid then sees this for the first time, what do they call it? And they call it a dog because it has the eyes and the ears and the nose and the tail and the 4 legs and fur, until we actually tell them that it's a cat. And so then they start to make the connections between cats, because they get more and more examples of what a cat is. And then I showed them a picture of a giraffe and said, well, this is also similar. And so the kid might also say that this is a dog or this is a cat, until we give them more and more examples. And the same thing's kind of true with these different programs. GeorgioCam doesn't work unless there's like a database of different things for it to recognize. It's been given examples, ways to recognize different shapes and things. Same with Quick Draw. It's learned through people drawing different but really similar things for each of the things that it asks you to draw. And through that, a curved line, or when I drew that guitar, the neck of it, the rectangle coming out of kind of like that shape of the guitar, gives it an idea that it might be a guitar. And the more examples that it gets, the more that the programmer or the user puts into it, the more that it's able to learn and then reacts. And so the same thing is true with this AI nightlight. At first, it's pretty dumb. It doesn't work all by itself until we start giving it examples of what somebody might say to turn it on or turn it off. That good?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you. Any questions? Anyone? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or just send us an email after, or type it in the chat box, whatever works. But we can hang around for a few minutes and see if anyone would like Nate to go back over anything. One thing I would say is I would suggest on each of the tablets, Nate, you had these saved as icons, or like the browsers were already pulled up, correct? So they just...
I searched for them just real quick, and then saved the link to the home screen. So I'm used to an iPad, but it's basically the same thing. It's that share button, and then just share it to your home screen, and then I put them all into a folder together.
Cool. So that would be a great option, everyone, to do that, to make it simple, fast, and easy. Again, the student surveys would be great after this one, since it's a new activity. We would love to capture that data. All right. I don't want to cut anyone off if anyone's typing a super long question right now. Oh, cool. Yep. There's a class code. It's also in the instructor guide. And then when you go ahead and practice this lab, the AI, all the instructions for the AI are the participant guide. So that's just what the participant guide is. There's 12 that will be sent to you, kind of like last month. They don't get to take them home. If the last session really wants to take those home, they can. You might have to write that class code down if they wanted to practice with it. Otherwise, they could just see what coding looks like on Tinker if they've not done it before, but that's an option. Please let them keep the headphones. If you have leftover headphones, they're yours. You can give them to the store. You can keep them for your classroom. Anything like that, up to you. All right, Brianna, anything else?
No, I think we've covered it all, and thank you, Nate, for going through all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, well, sad that this is the end, but we will finish out with a great lab on the 17th. Look forward to that last hoorah. And Aaron, if you wanted to step in and say anything, I see you popped right up. But thank you guys for everything. You've done great, and it's been a lot of fun. And our honor to get to work with you and make these labs a reality. So thanks.
I just echo that. It's been such a fun program, and that's solely because of you guys. So thank you very much. And we'll hopefully continue to work with you in little ways in the future.
All right, well, thanks guys. We will see you on the 17th. I will get this recording sent out with instructions and everything. I would expect the packages by Tuesday. But the good thing about this is the shipments aren't necessary for you to hold off until getting that to practice. So you're able to run everything, run through. It's not dependent on any technology or anything in those cases, or our shipment, which is good. So just be sure to run through this and everything will be great. All right, thanks guys. See ya.